Hello, 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 Facebook family. Welcome to another episode of My Life, Our Lessons, where I am going to be sharing something from my own life experience and hope that it can teach you something about how to love yourself better and how to experience a more delicious level of well being. So, today's live, I'm going to take a second and make sure there get enough of you in here because this is something that a lot of people have been um, asking of me or requesting me to speak on. So I'm going to speak on it. So I just want to give a second for enough of you all to get in here. Good morning, good Sunday morning. Um, I'm actually excited about doing this live. So I'm just going to give a second for enough of you all to get in here. Hey, everybody. I see you, Cheryl. Nalidi, I hope I pronounced your name correctly. Um, I see a lot of you all coming in. So today, hey, Latricia. Um, Good morning, everybody. I am excited about this live today because I wanted to share. So I'm doing this live because last week I wrote a post on my social platforms. I shared it on my personal Facebook page. I shared it on my business Facebook page. I shared it on my Instagram account. I shared it everywhere that I have a social platform. And it was about the four questions I ask on a first date to see whether or not that helped me understand whether or not I need to pursue a longer term relationship with this person. And in that post, I wrote a section that said if the person doesn't answer, depending on the answers to these questions, if the answers to those questions aren't in alignment, like aren't the answers that I'm looking for, then it's a no for me with that person. Though I may have sex with that person, I won't develop um, a long term experience with that person. And what ended up happening was I got um, a lot of people resonated with it. That post went viral. It's been shared that almost over 1,000 times now, and a lot of people are been commenting on it. But I received a lot of comments and personal email messages and inbox messages around the part where I said, which was a small part, by the way, it was like a blip in the whole thing, which I said that I would have, even though I wouldn't pursue a relationship with this person, a long term relationship with this person, I would have sex with this person. I may have sex with this person. And a lot of people commented and they were had a lot of things to say about it. And I wanted to do this video because not because I wanted to defend myself, because I want to clear that up, because I don't believe in that. I don't believe in defending myself. I believe in just speaking my truth and living my truth and letting that be that. And you can understand that, my truth or not, or you can be in resonance with my truth or you can't. That has nothing to do with whether or not I live it. So I don't defend myself. That's not something I'm really interested in. But I am interested in teachable moments. I am a teacher of self love and well being, and I teach people how to experience more of the two of those things and deeper and more delicious levels of the two of those things. And I am always looking for teachable moments. And this was a teachable moment for me because because I could see how a lot of people have a lot of misunderstandings around sex. And I have been working with people for over 15 years and helping them heal their lives, helping them heal their bodies, and helping them transform their lives into something more delicious than they could have ever imagined possible for them. And of all the of all the people I've worked with over the years and on all the topics, this issue around sex and sexuality has really been a core issue that has gotten people stuck and that has caused people a lot of pain and that has caused people even has been the root of a lot of diseases that have been manifested in our bodies. So this is a very teachable moment for me. So I wanted to really to dive into this and teach from here because what I saw in this, and by the way, you guys, if you have questions, I'd love to answer them live if you're here. So if anything I'm talking about today, you have questions, I'd love to answer them. So what I actually saw a lot of what was happening was people were projecting. they were projecting their issues and their triggers onto what they thought I was doing. And again, the sentence that I said was, it was just a little blip in there, and I didn't give much information on it. All I really said was that, and it was in a parentheses, as a matter of fact. But hey, good morning, Jazzy. Um, that I would possibly have sex with the person, even though I didn't want to pursue a long-term relationship with them. And there was a lot, like there was a lot of angry comments saying a lot of things. And so I've written some of these down, and we're going to address some of them. I'm not going to address the exact comment, but the principle behind the comment. A lot of comments where people were, and I saw a lot of projections and a lot of triggers. And so I want to speak to those in hopes that what I share around this will help you understand a little bit more about what sex actually is, and help you understand how you can move through your own life and your own dating journey with more love for yourself and experience more well being in your own life. So I wanted to share that today. So I will be addressing directly why I choose to have sex with people that I don't want to date long term, in hopes that you will learn something from it for your own life about loving yourself more and experiencing deeper levels of well being. So let's go into it. So, first things first, I do want to say a few things. First things first, I want to say, one, if I am a teacher and I teach seasoned spiritual seekers. So those are spiritual seekers who have been on the path for a while. You're familiar with universal laws. You've done some inner work. You've done some healing. You may have gone to workshops and retreats and things like that before. So you're not new to this type of information. So if you are new to this type of information, my message and my work may not be for you. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. It doesn't mean that you're less than in any way, because you're not. That's all bullshit. But you just may not understand. You just may not be at a level where you're ready to understand what I'm talking about, and or especially how I live my life. And so, how I live my life and the message I share is probably going to trigger you a lot, when you haven't yet done that. You're not on that path, or if you've not done that type of work before. So that's first things first, is that my message is for seasoned spiritual seekers, for people who've been on the path for a while, for people who are really about deeper spiritual growth and deeper levels of well-being, and understanding who they really are as a soul, and understanding the soul principles of how this reality actually works. So one of the things around that is absolute uh, sovereignty and responsibility for your life, meaning that you understand that you are the creator of everything that comes into your experience, and that almost everything that's happening for you is based upon some type of choice you're making, whether you're making it consciously or subconsciously. So this is going to help you a little bit understand where we're about to go in this conversation with this. The other thing I wanted to say, which was just a clearing up, because it was comical to me, to see this part of the projections that was happening. Was many people thought, because I said I would have sex with someone that I didn't want to date, that like I was just out here manipulating people, and I was out here just having sex with everybody, just going out there just having sex with everybody. And that was really comical to me, because if you knew me, and if you've been following me for a while, by the way, please, if you're new to me, go watch my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Jerome Braggs. I've got over 50 videos there. I probably got about 100 videos by now, but I've talked about all types of things, and I've definitely done several videos about sex and sexuality. But I've shared this a lot, is that, I've been celibate almost now 10 years. So, um, now this is probably not the and all together, so not in a connection. I was celibate for a one time for about 6 years, and then I was celibate again for another period of 4 years. So the whole projection of me being out there, just like having sex with everybody and just doing whatever, was really funny to me, because it was so untrue. It was so far from the truth. And even if I was, that would be something that I would own, and that I wouldn't have any shame about, and that I don't feel that that's a bad thing to do. but it was just so egregious. It was just so wrong. And it was just funny to me. So this is another thing, you guys, you just have to laugh, especially those of you all who are out there um, who are teachers and spiritual teachers and healers and coaches and speakers and things like that. The more you build your platform, the more you get out there, the more people are going to be responding, and people are going to you're going to your reach is going to grow. But that also is going to be people who don't understand you, or people who are new to you, and they're going to project all type of things onto you. And that was one of the things that people were projecting onto me that I thought was really funny. That it wasn't even true. So all that being said, let's dive in, you guys. By the way, again, if you have questions, um, please, 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 please. Hey, good morning, PJ, Vicky, Enoch, and Tyra. Good morning. If you have questions about this, please, 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 please dive into this. And yes, yes, Enoch. Altogether, it's been 10 years. It was a part of my own healing journey that I needed to do for myself. And it has been great. And it has really taught me a lot about sex and sexuality. And so I want to share some things. But so the first thing that happened, the first one of the one not the first thing, but one of the comments, the first comment I want to speak to was I got a lot of comments about how um, doing that, having sex with somebody that you didn't want a long term date, was dishonoring your sacred life force energy, and it was draining your life force energy, and you were going to be with somebody who was toxic, and that me doing that was me opening myself up to misuses of my energy, and people were saying that I didn't understand energy, and that that I was teaching people to do a very harmful thing. So I wanted to speak to this. So the first thing that I want to really speak to is there's a misunderstanding here about what actually drains your sacred energy. So, as a soul being, you are made of life force. Your life force energy, which is source energy, which is God energy, if you want to call it that, or higher self energy. That energy is the vibration of your soul, is the energy of your soul, and that is love energy. And your body is made to hold it. It's made to hold that energy. Actually, your body was literally created to house the energy of your soul, and to allow the energy of your soul to have a human physical experience. So you need to know how to nourish that energy and not deplete it and drain it. So that part of that, where it's trying to come from about nourishing the energy and depleting the energy is true. But the falsehood here is not understanding how it actually gets drained from you. So I want to speak to this a little bit. So there are a few things that actually drain the energy from your body, and that will toxify your energy, meaning that it will drain it, it will deplete it, it will block it, or it will leak it. That's and why that's a toxic thing is because that will again your body needs to hold the energy of your soul in it in order for you to be healthy, in order for your body to stay healthy, and also you need as much energy of your soul in your body in order for you to manifest your good, in order for you to manifest your higher good, manifest your dreams, manifest your desires. You need more of your soul's energy in your body. Now, here are some things that drain the energy. One is shame, the feeling of shame, the feeling that something is wrong with you, the feeling that something's not enough with you, the feeling that you're less than or inadequate in some type of way. Shame drains the energy of your toxifies your energy field. Fear. Shame is a type of fear, but shame is specifically about there being something wrong with you or less than about you, not enough, right? Fear is like that you're not going to be okay in some type of way, right? That's what really fear is about, is that somehow I'm not going to be okay. um, and that drains your energy field. That will deplete your life force. Worry, that's what worry is about. Worry is a form of fear that I'm not going to be okay in some type of way. The other portion is when you do things that disempower you, which don't make you feel free, which don't make you feel like when you give your power away to someone else, which often happens a lot in sex, by the way. When you do, and often more when you're having sex with somebody you don't want to have sex with, or when you're doing a type of sex that you don't want to have. like you're doing some type of sexual practice that you don't want to have, um, that will disempower you. That is when you're giving your power away. And mostly what power is when this is what real power is. And I'll do videos again later on some of these other topics more in depth. But power is when you're really doing what you really want to do, when you're not betraying yourself in any way, when your energy is not split in any way. Power is when, oh, what's happening? Can you all see me? Can you all still hear me? Somehow it's gone blank on my side. So if you can still hear me or see me, please, please say something because I can't see myself. So for some reason it just went blank. So if you all can just please in the comment section tell me that you can still see me and hear me. Okay, so you're saying yes. All right, so um, I'll just keep going. And even though you can't, even though I can't see myself, so hopefully you can hear me and see me. All right, so um, I was speaking about being disempowered. So being disempowered is when you are not doing something that you really want to do, and you're not doing something that you're being guided to do, or you feel that you're not free to do something that you really want to do, especially free to be yourself or free to do something you really believe in. And so one thing that'll disempower you in sex is when you're not enjoying it and you're not speaking up about that, when you're not able to do the things you really want to do in sex, like maybe you want to try something and you're not able to try it. Like those things are what actually will disempower you in sex, not necessarily that you're having sex with somebody you don't want to date. And I'm going to go into more detail with all this in a second. um, and then the other part that will drain your energy from you is when you're overgiving, when you're giving out more to the point where you feel stressed, where you feel like you're giving out and you're meeting somebody else's needs and your needs aren't being met. You're meeting somebody else's needs, you're filling their cup and your cup is empty, right? That is what will drain your energy force from you. So the thing about that, around that, is it doesn't have to do with. So here's the thing I want to clear up about this. So one, I don't have I don't go on dates with people that are toxic to me, right? I don't even choose, they don't even get a date with me. They don't even get a first date with me, right? One thing, because I've done the work to be very in tune with my intuition. And I've done the work to be very in tune with the energy of a situation. So if I'm talking to somebody that I may find attractive and the energy exchange between me and them doesn't feel okay, that's a no for me immediately. You don't even get to go on a date with me. Also, if you're not somebody that I enjoy, if I don't think that I would be able to spend 2 to 3 hours with you, because that's what a first date is going to be, 2 to 3 hours with somebody. If I don't think I can spend 2 to 3 hours with you, I'm not even going to say yes to a date. See, this is the teachable moment about really being really aware of energy. And this is what I teach, right? This is to be really, really, really aware of energy. How does this person make me feel? When I'm having a conversation with this person, how does this in interaction with this person, we've met, they're flirting with me, I may be flirting with them. Pay attention in that experience to how you feel. How does this person make me feel? Do I feel light around this person? Does my energy feel expanded around this person? Or do I feel constricted? Do I feel diminished? Is there something in my gut telling me this isn't a good idea? I listen to my intuition above all else. I have done the work on that. That's what saved my life. By the way, if you're new to me, I healed from terminal disease. The thing that helped me heal that was to listen to my intuition, to learn to listen to my intuition above all else, above what anybody else was saying, what my doctors were saying, what my family was saying. I listened to what my soul was saying. And learning to listen to what my soul was saying has saved my life. I do that on every topic of my life, including dating somebody. So if I'm introduced to somebody and there's a feeling and my soul says, no, this is not a good idea, is or my soul says, hey, let's move on, I move on without question. So you don't even get a date with me if I don't think that I'm going to enjoy you in some way. I'm going to enjoy your presence, or that I'm not going to be, I don't just go on dates with people because they're cute. I go on dates with people because I'm attracted to them and their energy is in alignment with me. So that's the first thing. Second thing is, the thing about sex is, yes, you do exchange energy, you do connect in, you do kind of entrain in energy, because sex is one of the highest practices of our experience of oneness. So we, as a soul being, you are literally one with everyone on the planet. You're connected to everyone. And if you've had a near death experience, or if you learned from anyone who's had a near death experience, so many people that have had near death experiences will talk about that. When you die and you leave this body and you cross over to the other side, you have this experience of the you come back into the awareness of what you really are. And that awareness is oneness with everything, and you are one with everything. That was what I experienced in my near death experience. I experienced the oneness. And so I understand that we're one with everyone. And sex is one of the experiences, the practices we have in this human experience, that where you experience what that oneness kind of feels like. And so you do experience a oneness with someone. And what a lot of people will teach, and this is kind of a misunderstanding still in spirituality and some metaphysical fields, is that you need to be so wary and so protection of yourself through sex, because you can get entrained into somebody, enmeshed into somebody, that enmeshed into their energy that you don't want for your own self. And while that a piece of that is true, I want to clear up something else. Again, this is a teachable moment. So I want to clear something else up around that, because when you're not aware of your own energy, and when you are not aware of how energy gets passed between people, and you're not aware of how to care for your energy and how to honor and respect it and even protect it, then you may need to be a little bit more conscious about your sexual behaviors in the beginning. Because you can begin to, especially if you're not having done the work like this, to be more conscious about who you choose to who you choose to interact with. Again, I only interact with people who nourish my energy. Period. In my work experiences, who I choose to work with, who my clients are, who I choose to do business projects with, who I choose to, hang out with friends. Those I only choose people who nourish me. So if you haven't done the work to really get clear on what nourishes you and what doesn't, then you want to be more mindful in the beginning about your sexual practices, because you do have that exchange of energy. But again, if you don't know how to also protect your energy, which I'm going to teach you here, I'm going to teach you something in just a second. Um, that may be an issue, but it's not for me. Because I know how to care for my energy, and I know how to quote unquote shield myself. Now, I teach a different type of shielding, because I don't like for you to come into experiences thinking you need to protect yourself against something, like that you're not safe, because this is a deeper consciousness understanding here. When you project into the universe that you may not be safe, you have to manifest something for you not to be safe from. I think this is really important to understand. When you move into an experience where you think I'm not going to be safe and I need to armor up some type of way, in that same set of consciousness, because your consciousness is what creates your reality. Your reality is a reflection of your consciousness. So if you believe that you're not safe, you have to manifest external experiences to affirm that belief. So this is one of the reasons why I don't like teaching people how to just like psychic shields all the time, even though I know how to do them. But psychic shield, because what you're actually doing is you're telling the universe, please create something for me to be shielded from. That's what you're actually doing. You're actually sending a message to the universe to, please, could you manifest something for me to be? If I need to shield, 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 please create something for me to be. You have to be, the universe is not here to make you crazy. The universe loves you. So if you believe that you're not safe and that you need to be on guard, then there has to be a reason for you to be on guard and for you to need to be protected from. So when we're talking about sex, this is why I don't teach people just to go into sex so shielded. But here's a shield that I do that is beneficial, that doesn't come from fear. It comes from love. And so again, when you choose actions out of fear, you're going to manifest more things to be afraid of. But when you choose things out of love, you're going to manifest more things to feel love. So here's the thing that I do with my sexual experiences before I go into sex with somebody. I will take a moment before I go into bed, and this happens before, I go to the house or they come to the house, before we go into the bedroom or whenever. I just it only takes a minute. I take a minute, I breathe, put my hand over my heart, and I see myself being filled with light and being filled with the vibration of love. I see myself being filled with that. And I see it so much so that it expands out from inside of my heart and inside of my body, that it expands all around me like a light, like a radiant light. And this light is a protection for me. And in this light, I see that only what is high vibrational, only that what will serve the energy of my soul can come into this shield, can come into this light around me. And only what will serve the expansion and the nourishment of another person's light will come out of me to them. Only what will serve my light will come into me, and only what will serve um, only what will serve their light will go into them, right? And so I set that intention that in this experience, only what will serve and nourish my light and help it expand will happen, and only what will help expand their light will happen in this experience. That's the only shield that I use, right? And so that makes sure, and in that shield, I'm also setting an intention. I'm setting an intention for what I want to have happen in this space. This is what's called segment intending. So in sex, you need to segment intend. You need to take a second out and say, what do I want in this experience? So this is the other part. So that's one, the shield that I do. The second part is I segment intend. How do I want this experience to go? What would I prefer to happen here? And I always look at how I want it to feel, not the details of what I want to happen necessarily, but how I want to feel. This is what I'm talking about, energy work. This is energy work. How do I want this experience with sex to feel? I want to feel expanded by this. I want to feel pleasure. I want to feel fun. I want both of us to enjoy ourselves. I want at the end of this for both of us to have felt fulfilled and enlarged by this experience. So that's all you need to do. And when you do that as a soul, when you set your intention, you have set the energy for how that experience is going to happen. Now, again, I don't think you don't need to focus on the details, because you can close things off, because your mind doesn't know the best way for you to experience an energy. You are your mind. What your mind knows is the energy you want to experience, and that's all you need to focus on. How do you want to feel? Your soul knows the details for how best to make that energy happen. So I always leave it to that. I don't tell, like, this is exactly what I want to happen per. What I say is, this is how I like to feel. This is how I like to feel in this experience. And once I have that, and by the way, this goes for everything in your life. This goes before you go into a business meeting. How do I want this meeting to feel for me? Before you go into before you do any type of money transactions, or any type of, if you work with clients, before you work with a client session, how do you want this client session to feel? Before you do anything, take a moment, and before I answer the phone, I segment intend. when I see who's calling or the number, I take 5 seconds. How do I want this to feel for me? I want to feel good with this. I want to feel relaxed. I want this to feel empowered. I want to feel relieved. Whatever the feeling is, I say this. So this is the thing that I do. And then I go into the experience. And then what you find when you segment intend is because this is how you exercise your power as a soul. This is you literally create your reality. So when you segment intend, what you find is it happens like that. At the end of it, oh my God, I feel exactly how I want it to feel. And now I might not have thought about the different ways in which that brought and elicited that feeling, but I feel the way I want to feel. So that's one thing that you want to do, right? So that's one thing around the sacred energy. So speaking to that, like the sacred energy, it's not because you had sex with somebody who you didn't want to have a relationship with. It was that you weren't honoring and paying attention to your energy. Now, again, so here's the other thing part I want to say about this. Again, I told you again, I don't go on dates with anybody that I don't enjoy. So if I'm on a date with you, I already enjoy you. I already feel like there's something that I enjoy with you. And so if I realize during the date that there is something about you that may not be nourishing for a long term relationship, and this is another thing to understand a lot, is because relationships are different than love energy. Relationships are the vehicle in which you are supposed to grow and supposed to nourishment your growth and supposed to help you expand your love energy. And so when I'm on dates, I ask questions that will help me become aware of if you're able to do that. If you speak my love, I get clear on if you speak my love language. And if you are able to speak my love language, I get clear on things like, are we going to be financially capable, compatible? Like what your finances are, what's your financial situation? Are you going to be a hindrance to me financially in some type of way? I get clear on all of that. I get clear on like what your definition of love is, and if our definition of love are in alignment and are a match. I ask questions about some things about how you move through your life, and are those things that are going to be compatible to me and are going to help my expand my joy or not. And so if that's a no, it doesn't mean you're a bad person. It doesn't even mean that you're a bad person or that something's wrong with you. All it means is that in a relationship with you, you're not going to be able to meet my needs, and you're not going to be able to expand my joy in the way I needed to expand it. And so our relationship just doesn't need to work. Our relationship means we don't need to have a. So I see a question here really quick from PJ. What do you call setting your feeling intention before sex meeting? I call it segment intending. I learned it initially from Abraham Hicks, if you all are familiar with that. But segment intending, I do segment intending before anything, really, before I answer the phone, before I go into a meeting, before I go work out with my trainer. Before you enter any new segment of your life, how do you want this segment to unfold for you? And you intend it. I'll do a video. I'll be teaching this, by the way, in my Self Love Academy very deeply. There's going to be a whole classes on segment intending and how to do it. But that's really what it is before you move into any segment of your life, you take a moment and intend how you'd like it to unfold for you. Um, so yeah, so that's one of the things about that is, again, I don't because this is the learning thing about us. You have to understand that there are different things that it takes to you can love somebody and somebody can love you, but they may not know how to actually be in a relationship with you. And that is something to really learn that will really set you free, because you can love somebody and somebody can love you, but you may not be good for each other in a relationship. You may not know how to meet each other's needs. You may be imbalanced. Like you may be, that person may need more from you than you can give. Like that's how you get into over giving relationships where you're always giving of yourself and you're not receiving back in an equal measure, so that you become imbalanced. And so you have to have these questions where you begin to assess how this relationship is going to be with this person. This is the whole purpose of dating, is to help you assess the person and whether or not they can a relationship with them is going to be beneficial to you, and it's going to be beneficial to them because you may not be able to meet their needs either. There may be things that you're not comfortable doing, or that don't aren't in resonance with you, and so you're not good for them. And so you have to have questions where you assess that. Well, just because that if you find that a relationship is like a more entwined, connected relationship is not good for you, doesn't mean that a sexual relationship with them may not be good for you. And this is so, again, if you enjoy them, they make you laugh, they're fun, you find them beautiful, but maybe they're not at a financial place right now that is going to be in resonance with where you are, or maybe they're not. Maybe their definition of love is different, right, than what you need. And maybe they don't speak your love languages, and they're not willing to speak your love languages. Okay, so that a relationship. So this is how I view it. So a relationship is off the table with this person, but I still enjoy this person. I still receive pleasure from them. I may just they just may be somebody I hang out with and go to the movies with. And then also, I can still experience pleasure with them in my body. See, this is the thing that I learned in my near death experience, by the way, is that your soul came here to experience pleasure. It came here to experience fun and pleasure. And I know this triggers a lot of people because a lot of people have a lot of woundedness around sex. But you're here to experience pleasure, especially pleasure in your body and with your body. And this is another thing people were projecting onto me, was they thought I was just predatory on these people and I was using people for sex. And that's assuming that I don't communicate well. I communicate very well. I communicate my intentions. If you've been a client, if you've been a friend, if you've been a coworker, you know that from me. I speak that. So if I'm not interested in a relationship with somebody, I communicate that with them. I say, hey, I really enjoy you, but I don't think a relationship is going to work out between the two of us. But I really enjoy you, and I love to enjoy you physically as well. I think maybe if we could just keep it as we just hang out every once in a while and maybe we have sex. And then that gives the person the option to say yes or no. That gives them their empowerment to be able to choose whether or not they want to do this or not. And if they say yes, great. If they say no, it's a no. And I honor a no. I honor boundaries just like I expect people to honor my boundaries. So, that's again, this is the thing about it. To really to really begin to speak and to really begin to communicate what you really want, what you really need. And first, you need to do it to yourself, because that's the work that has to be done first before you can even get to all of that. Is to get to, and this is one of the things that celibacy really helped me do, was to get to understand what I really liked, what I really needed for myself, as far as what nourished my soul's energy, what expanded me, what brought me joy, what fulfilled me, what felt like fun to me, how I wanted to relate to people, what I needed in relationships. And then when I got clear on that, then I could communicate that. I can clearly communicate that. I can clearly talk about it. I can ask about it. I can speak about it in people with dates. And then when I realized that if this is not going to serve me in a long term, it doesn't mean it's not going to serve me in a short term. So this is another thing I want to really speak to. I really want to speak in depth about this. As a soul being, you are here to shine the light of your soul, to shine it into the world, and to expand it and to grow it. The shining part of it happens when you are being your true self, when you are being your most authentic self. You shine the light of your soul into the world. When you're suppressing an aspect of yourself, or repressing an aspect of yourself, or hiding an aspect of yourself, or constantly trying to change yourself, you're not shining your light. You're not fulfilling your purpose. And that actually, when you diminish your light, it will make your body sick, and it will also keep you from fulfilling your dreams and your purpose. So that's one thing. The other thing is the the growing of your light. This is something that a lot of people don't understand. So your light is to expand. The energy of your soul is to grow. It's to expand. It's not static. It's supposed to grow. And in order to grow it, it has to be fed. Just like your physical body needs to be grown. I mean, just like your physical body needs food and nourishment and nutrients to grow, your soul body needs nutrients and food to grow too. And the biggest nutrient and the biggest food for the soul is joy. It's joy. That's why you hear so many people. So we hear so many spiritual teachers and so many, especially channelers like myself. You'll hear so many people who channel will say over and over and over again, it's so important to follow your joy. You're following your joy is the number one thing. It's the thing to do. And that's because following your joy expands the light of your soul. And your joy is things like your passions, things that fulfill you, things that are fun, and it's also pleasure. Pleasure. So many of us are starved of pleasure. And it's why you get sick. It's why you're not growing. We are starved of pleasure because we have all these things in our cultures that say the things that actually please you are wrong, right? So you may just want to dance in the street for a while and that's really pleasurable for you, but oh, that don't do that for what your neighbors will think of you. Or what pleases you may be to stop doing work for money and to start doing work for joy, which so many of us do, right? Work for the money instead of for the joy of it, and you're robbing yourself of pleasure. And so, what I found, and we're working with so many people, is the majority of people are starved. They are malnourished of pleasure. And I had to learn to heal my body from terminal disease. I had to learn how to saturate my life with pleasure. And allowing myself to have sex more was part of that, right? Sex is pleasure. It's supposed to be pleasurable. Now, there are some other aspects about how you, well, again, are you having sex with who you really want to have sex with? Are you having the type of sex you really want to have sex with? And are you having the type of sex that nourishes your energy, right? That is pleasurable sex. So I allow myself to have pleasurable sex. And I'm not ashamed about that because that actually is healthy, is healing. It helps you heal. But again, I do that. I communicate well. I let people know what I like and what my intentions are and to see if they're aligned because I don't do things that aren't in alignment with me. I'm not interested in having sex with somebody and manipulating them. I do things that nourish my energy field. You should do things that nourish your energy field. And this is how you do it. You need joy. And again, so again, by the way, speaking on this, I don't have joy. Having sex with somebody that I don't enjoy isn't joyful for me, isn't pleasurable for me. Just because you're attractive, but your values I'm not in alignment with, or I don't like your personality, I think you're rude, I'm not gonna have sex with that person. That's somebody I want to spend time with, enjoy. So when I do, when the person is somebody I enjoy but they just don't have the other things that will nourish a longer relationship with them, having sex with them will nourish me. It expands my pleasure. So this is different, right? So I just wanted to share like some pieces with that. Let me see one other thing I wanted to share with y'all around that, because yeah, so this is the last thing I wanted to share around this. I had to take notes, by the way, because there was a lot of this. So yeah, so somebody thinks sex is an alchemy. Yeah, it's not the highest alchemy for the body. The highest alchemy for the body is joy. Is to live your joy. Is to live a life that you fully enjoy. That is the highest alchemy for the body. But sex is a part of pleasure, and it can definitely alchemize the body. Um, and also the reason why so many of us experience sex as toxic is because one, we're having sex with people that we don't listen to our intuition, and we're having sex with people that our soul is clearly telling us it's not a good idea. And the other part of that is because we're not communicating what we really want in sex. We're not communicating what we really enjoy in sex, what really makes us feel alive and tuned in. So we have unpleasing sex with people and we're scared to communicate and talk about sex. Like, listen, if you're on a date, talk about sex. Talk about what you like and what the other person likes, what they're willing to do and what they're not willing to do. That will also help you understand, if not, whether or not you want to have sex with that person. Because if that person likes things that you totally don't like, you don't need to be engaged with them because you're not going to be in alignment. And that is, instead of sex being pleasurable for you, it's going to be gross. It's going to be draining. It's going to be unfulfilling, or it may be painful. So you will need to have conversations about this type of stuff. You need to have conversations about, what do you enjoy, what do you like, what turns you on, what doesn't turn you on. Here's what I like. Here's what really turns me on. Here's what really, so that when I have sex with somebody, because I've had these conversations with them, it is an enjoying and healing experience. This is part of loving yourself. I told you this is teaching about self love and well being. The loving yourself is getting clear on what you need to expand your joy and to nourish yourself, and being able to communicate that with any type of partner that you're wanting to engage with, so that you make sure your needs are met and you get clear with them so that you can make sure that you can meet their needs, right? And that's the loving part of yourself. The well-being, and well-being is your experience of happiness and health and growth. And so when you're clear about that, and then you do something that is going to be in alignment with that, that's going to expand your well-being. It's going to expand your experience of happiness. It's going to expand your health because you're charging life force energy into your body. And it's going to expand your growth because you're expanding your light. But if you're not, then not. But here's the thing, love, like, once you get to do the work, and you really do the work of understanding yourself, because it all starts with understanding yourself and trusting yourself and listening to yourself. And when you get that, when you learn how to trust yourself and you learn how to hear your intuition and what it really sounds like, and you learn to listen to the signs and the pings that happen when you're talking to somebody about whether or not this is an alignment or not, or if it is an alignment, the excitement that you feel, and you learn to follow your joy through that, you are going to have a blissful experience. And when you don't, you are going to have a terrible experience. And that's what has triggered a lot of people in this post, because so many of us have not learned that to get to blissful experiences, so that you're having all these negative experiences with sex, and then you project that onto somebody else and you say that has to be what's happening for that person. And I'm here to tell you that's not what's happening for me. And it doesn't need to be what's happening for you either. By the way, if you'd like to learn all of this, please join my Self Love Academy. Enrollment is open. This is what I teach you all in here in greater depth than what I'm doing today. Like, you're going to learn how to really get in tune with yourself so that you can hear what's best for you and what's not. You're going to learn how to communicate clearly so that everybody knows what's on the table and what's not, and so you can make clear soul aligned decisions and clear joy growing experiences instead of joy depleting experiences, instead of soul misalignment experiences, right? You're going to learn this in Self Love Academy, by the way. The enrollment is open. Classes start October 1st. But you're going to learn this. This is all what I created Self Love Academy for. But this is really what this is, and sex is medicine. Sex will help you get more in alignment with yourself. It will grow your light. It will expand your experience of well-being when you make conscious choices around it. When you make conscious choices around it. So that's what, when I was getting this, when I posted that thing around it, I was showing you, one, the questions I asked that helped me understand whether or not somebody's going to be in resonance with me long term. And also that just because you're not in resonance with me long term doesn't mean you'll not be in resonance with me short term. Doesn't mean that I can't enjoy you. This was another thing I used to work with a lot with my clients, where people would say, like, everybody that comes into your life doesn't have to be the one. That's so much pressure. That's why you don't actually meet the one, is because you're putting so much pressure and you're not allowing your soul to bring you people who will help you get clear, will help you, one, learn the lessons you need to learn so that you can grow your vibration and expand it and raise it so that you can be ready for the one, because you're still wanting everybody to be the one that shows up in your life and you're not even ready. These experiences come to you to help you become ready. Number one. Number two, you're supposed to expand your joy. And so sometimes the people that come into your life are not here to be the one with you forever. They're here to help you expand your joy in the moment so that you're a greater joy expanded being. So that when the one, if you want the one, by the way, if you want the one, when the one comes, your energy is so high and so expanded, and your soul is soul in your body that you are a blessing to them. Why would the universe bring you somebody to be with for the rest of your life when you're just going to bring them down because your soul energy is not even in your body yet? So stop needing every experience and every person that shows up in your life to be the one, and help them be the medicine. Sometimes that person is just here to be a medicine for you, to help you experience more joy, to help you get clear on what you really want or don't want, to help you begin to communicate better, to help you begin to say, oh, yes, I deserve this. I'm worthy of things like this. I'm worthy of fun. I'm worthy. Because a lot of times you don't even know you're worthy of good things yet. And so this person comes to help you understand you're worthy of this. And then you begin to say, oh, I am worthy of this. And now you hold an energy of worthiness. And then you can attract the one now. So I understand this. Sometimes the people that come to me, if he's not the one, then he's the medicine. And I'm going to open myself to this medicine. How do I need to take in this medicine? Sometimes it's sex, sometimes it's not. Again, I listen to my intuition. Sexual experiences will really help you understand a lot about yourself when you actually come to them from a place of consciousness, and you stop holding on to all this toxicity around, I need this person. If he's not the one, that he's worthless to me. That's another message that I saw in this a lot. That's a teachable moment, is if he's not the one, or if she's not the one, she's worthless to me. Oh my God, you guys. Do you not understand how the soul works? The soul teaches through everybody that comes to you. The soul is expanding you through everything that comes to you. So if he's not the one, then he's here to help you get clarity. Because here's another thing I teach with my clients. What about him or what about her did you like? Did you really like? Because that will help you understand what you want. So I didn't like this, and that'll help you get clear about what you don't want to accept. Okay, so I didn't like this. So that's clear. I don't want to accept this. I don't want this in my relationships. But I did like this. Oh God, how he treated me, or how she treated me, or how she spoke this, or how she dressed, or whatever. I like this. And I want somebody that will have this. That helps you clarify. It's kind of like a sharpening knife. It helps you sharpen your knife to get clear about what really is really delicious for you in a relationship. And if you keep pushing people away and keep throwing them in the trash, if they're not the one, you don't ever get sharp. And that's why you don't ever attract the one. Whew, yeah, I'm sorry, they had worked me up there for a minute. Yeah, so this is like, it's not if they're not the one, they're the medicine. And take your medicine. Right? Take the medicine. Maybe the medicine is to help you get here, to get clarity on what you really want and don't want. Maybe the medicine is just to help you have more fun because you're not getting enough pleasure in your life and you're not having enough fun. Because here's the last thing I'm going to add with this. When you meet the one, this is how you sabotage. This is how you sabotage when you actually keep asking for the one in your soul. The universe loves you, so they're going to send it to you. And this is how they come, and you sabotage it. Because when you are not filled with joy, and you are not believing that you're worthy of pleasure and worthy of love, and you're not doing things that, and you're not living a life that breathes life through you, right? Then what ends up happening is you become a vampire. What ends up happening is you start to need other people to make you happy. What ends up happening is you start to pull energy from people. So remember, we're one, right? So we're all connected. So when you are in engagement with people, especially people you're dating, and you've not done the you've not taken the journey of bringing more joy into your body, you've not taken the journey of believing in your worthiness of pleasure, you've not taken the journey of living a life that brings you joy. What ends up happening is you start to steal their energy from them. You start to pull it because you don't have enough in your own body. You start to try and pull it from them to try and bring it into yours. This is all happening subconsciously, and anybody who is an energy healer or can see energy, like, if you can see energy and read energy, you can see this and you can attest to this. This is what happens. You start to pull it. You start to drain it. This is how you become to put your hooks in people and start to try to pull their energy field from pull their life force energy from them because you haven't done the work. And this is why it's so important that you have an experience where you allow yourself to date, where you allow yourself to experience pleasure, so that you can meet somebody with a full cup and not an empty cup, and you're constantly trying to put a straw into their cup and drink from them because you don't have the energy that that in your own body. So this is why I do stuff like that. This allows me to fill my cup and to stop trying to drink from somebody else's and try to steal and vampire their own life force. So this is it, you guys. I see you all commenting like, I want to feel pleasure, I want to have fun. Absolutely. That's why you're here. That's why your soul came to this dimension. If you're not the one, you're the medicine, living life that breathes into you. Yes. Segment intending, you guys come into the Self-Love Academy. I'll be teaching a lot about that. A lot of you are saying this is the video I didn't know I needed. Yeah. So yeah, that's how you sabotage the one, you guys. So the one can come, but you're not ready. And so you'll sabotage it. You'll drain the life out of them and they'll be like, oop, nope, this is not what I signed up for. I'm gone. Right? Just like you don't want to be drained by somebody. If you've ever been really happy and you've been around somebody who's not, they try to drain you. And if it's a draining energy and you don't feel like you're in resonance with them. So you can attract the one and you're not even in resonance with them yet because your vibration is not high enough. You're not enough. Your soul's energy is not enough in your body. And so they can't stay. That's how you have to love yourself more so that you have more love energy in your body so that you are a great container for love when it shows up. So yeah, um questions. So I'm gonna answer some questions here, you guys, before I get off here because I have to go meet with my trainer here in a minute. But so Jordan's asking, what if it brings you pleasure, but it's not morally or socially acceptable? Oh, I love this question, Jordan. So most of what is going to bring your soul pleasure is not going to be socially acceptable. We'll talk a lot about that in Self Love Academy. This is something you're going to learn. If you're really going to be a real soul embodied being, if you're really going to express your real God self in the world, you're going to have to become okay with doing things that a lot of people are not going to find acceptable. Because your soul doesn't lead you to the acceptable things, it will lead you to the things that are going to nourish you, but it's not going to lead you to things that are going to do things that are, your soul will not lead you to things that are going to harm somebody. Now that's different. Your soul is not going to lead you to something that's going to harm somebody. Your soul is not going to lead you into something or going to ask, or your soul is not going to ask you for something that is going to cause harm to somebody, but it will ask you to do things that some people are not going to agree with. That a lot, and a lot of what society deems acceptable is actually stuff that is not in alignment with the soul, by the way. So it's going to ask you to do things that aren't acceptable. It's going to ask you to do things that aren't accepted by other people, or that aren't deemed uh, okay, or deemed like the right thing to do or the good thing to do in other people's eyes, but it's the good thing to do for you. it's the right thing to do for you. If you are really going to live heaven on earth, and which is why you came, what you came here to live, by the way. If you're really going to live heaven on earth, and you're really going to begin to live a life that is beyond um, normal human experience, that goes into absolute bliss, you're going to have to be okay and become okay. And this is something I'm still learning in my own journey. You're going to have to become okay with living a life that other people are going to view as crazy. They may view as weird and wrong. All of that. And so I'm very clear that my soul came here to push buttons. I wasn't okay with that for a long period of my life, because I had the wound of really really wanting to belong. Um, but my life, if you look at it, is my life is in so many margins of not being socially acceptable. You know, I'm saying gender loving, and where I grew up and in the time that I grew up in, that was socially unacceptable. Um, I am an intuitive. I have intuitive gifts. I grew up in a religious family. I grew up in a very religious environment. That was socially unacceptable. I wouldn't be who I am right here talking to you today if I moved through my life um, by the rule book of socially acceptable. I love myself, and I appreciate and I accept myself, and I have things that people say are not socially acceptable that I need to love. Like, you know, I feel attractive and sexy, and I have all these scars. My body's not perfect, right? I have a lot of scars on my body from surgeries I had, and I still feel sexy and I still flaunt it. That wasn't socially acceptable either, right? And so, and those are the kind of basic things, but there's many things that your soul is not going to um, is going to ask you to do that is not going to be deemed socially acceptable, but that will free you, and that will lead you to a different level and a higher level of joy, and that will expand the light of your soul. So, yeah, some people are saying most people don't give themselves permission to even listen to their soul. That's absolutely right. We've been socialized and conditioned, especially in the West, outside of listening to our souls. And as a matter of fact, to make the actual process of that has been made to make people feel that you're crazy if you do so. But so you are a sixth sensory being. I want to say it like this really quickly. You're a sixth sensory being, meaning you have six senses. We grew up in a culture and in a world that believes you're only a five sensory being. And so it's the whole way we built this world is around moving with just five senses, but you're a sixth sensory being. You have a sixth sense. You have a sense of intuition. You have a God voice. And our culture is not created to help you understand that or to even believe that's real, and especially not how to operate by that. And that's why we have to create things like Self Love Academy to teach you how to do that, to teach you how to move through the world as a sixth sensory being, to understand you're a sixth sensory being, and how to move through the world like that, and how to really get in touch with and operate from your sixth sense. It's kind of like, and when you're divorced from that sense, that's the biggest sense of all the senses, by the way, more than anything else. But it's almost like if you didn't have if you didn't have the sense of taste, right? What if you didn't have taste, and but you had to eat, and so you wouldn't even know. Like, imagine how you couldn't taste food at all. Imagine how you would move through, what you would be missing, what you would be missing out on. Imagine all the taste and the pleasures and all the things that come with taste, and understanding what you shouldn't be eating by what it tastes like, right? Too. All the things that come from that you would be missing out on. And that's not even the biggest sense. That's the biggest sense is your intuition. And so imagine what we're missing out on when you're not in tune with that. So just a few more questions. Just a few more questions. Um, how does those men feel after making love to you, Jerome? I feel my heart exploding every time I watch your live streams, which tells me that your sex is super high voltage. It's so funny you asked me that, Leslie, because I just wrote a post about that. I think yesterday or the day before yesterday, I posted something about how um, since I've taken the healing journey with self love, sex with me is very different. And I wrote about that. And I wrote about what people tend to experience with that. And not just me, this is for anybody. I'm not different from you all. I've just done different work. Um, I've done deeper work, and I had to, because I had to do this type of work to actually survive. Was given, days to live, and then after that, I was given months to live. So I had to do that to. I had to learn how to do all of this to actually heal my. I had to heal every area of myself so that I could heal my body. And so, but this is not different. You all can have this same experience. And I wrote this. I wrote this in a post the other day about how the more you begin to love yourself and you begin to be filled with love energy, which is your soul's energy, how it changes your sexual experiences and how it changes sex with you. So go find that post. I wrote it. It was either yesterday or the day before. It wasn't that long ago. It was maybe at most 2 days ago. I didn't write it on my personal page. It's on my business page, and it's on my Instagram account. So you all can go find that post. Um, yeah, somebody's saying if you didn't have taste, you wouldn't know poison from nourishment. Absolutely. So imagine if you're not in tune with your intuition, what you don't know. Imagine. Yeah, somebody saying the whole purpose of dating is to assess. Absolutely. You're trying to assess whether or not this is going to be in resonance with you. And the things that are not in resonance with you, as far as this person. So the whole purpose of your life also is to go through life figuring out what's in resonance with you and what's not. And what's in resonance with you is what's in alignment with your soul's energy, what's going to help it expand, what's going to nourish it, what's going to help it shine. And you want to figure that out with the person that you're engaging with. Is this person going to help your is this person engagement with this person going to feed your soul's energy? Is it going to help your soul's energy shine more in the world? Is it going to help it expand more in the world? And if it does not, um, it's a no. You're only here for things that are in resonance with you. You're here to experience things that are in resonance with you and are going to help you become more in resonance with yourself, by the way. Um, so dating, that's the purpose of it, is to find resonance and to discover resonance and to become more in resonance. If this is somebody that you can, because you can become more in resonance with people, you can do work around that. Again, when you're in a relationship with somebody, sometimes you come out of resonance for a second, and then you do the work in yourself, and then you do the work together to come back more in resonance. So, but in the dating, when you're in the beginning, you want to make sure this person is really highly in resonance with you and they're not out of resonance with you. They may not be perfectly in resonance with you across all things, but that they're mostly in resonance with you. You want to make sure, and that the thing that they're not in resonance with you is not a non-negotiable, because it could be non-negotiable. It could be something like, maybe a non-negotiable is you really want to live by the ocean, and this person wants to live in the middle of the country in a landlocked space, and they're not open to moving. They're not open to living by the ocean. They don't want it. That's non-negotiable for you. That's not in resonance, right? That's something that's a little easy example of that. But yeah, so yes, you guys, I just wanted to clear that up. I wanted to share some things. I want to make sure I got everything out that I wanted to clear up. Yeah. So I hope that kind of shed some light on the situation, and I hope that taught you a little bit more about how you can love yourself more in your journey with dating and with sex, and how you can experience more well-being in your journey with dating and with sex. Again, I am a self-love and well-being teacher. I teach you how to experience more delicious levels of both of those things. And this was a teachable moment around sex and understanding it and how to approach it more with love for yourself and love for the other person, and how to help you expand your well-being through it. So I love you all. If you haven't already, please join. Please look at Self Love Academy. I think you'll love it. Please look at enrolling in it. I'll be teaching a lot of this stuff in that place in greater detail than what I'm doing here today. And as always, I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Now go love yourself. Bye.